Welcome. This is the first go-round of the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce Bridgeton Beacon Virtual Expo recording. This is not the virtual expo itself. That'll live on the Chamber of Commerce YouTube or website and social channels when we provide the finished product in a Dropbox folder to the Chamber, as well as each of the participants who will get their own media kit with social posts and highlight clips from their segment. Any text content, transcription optimization, or social media content provided to the participants will be done by visible.info. This is a map of the Bridgeton, New Jersey area with about 160 data points that show your friend and ours Flying First Class Equestrian Center in Bridgeton. We started working with them and ran their initial audit on May 20th, so about 20 days ago. And for kids' horseback riding lessons, they were showing up a position of 20th or below in Google Maps. And so you can see from May 20th until June 9th, we've gone from an average ranking of 18.9 for kids' horseback riding lessons to an average ranking, which means phone number above the fold in maps, of 2.06. And it's the first 3 spots that appear above the fold in Google Maps listings. So for the local service of kids' horseback riding lessons or roofing, or you're a boutique, if you're a local business, this gets your phone number above the fold and demonstrates your authority in your niche. That's visible.info. See below for the link to run an audit on your business.
Welcome to the first Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce Virtual Expo. My name is Meg Horner. I'm the host and moderator today. I also host the Bridgeton Beacon, and we're happy to be joined by 3 folks who are going to tell us a little bit about each of their businesses. And we're hopeful that those in the audience that may have had cold feet will see that this doesn't hurt at all, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. So just a few things. I'm going to introduce first Lori Latour from LaLa Beading Creations.
Hi, Megan. Good to see you again. We've done this a few times, and it's been really, really a blast. So LaLa Beading is myself, Lori Latour, along with my partner, Sandy Acelta. And we started this about 14, 15 years ago. We were each doing beading separately, and husband said, are we ever going to make any money doing this? And we said, let's try it. So we do craft shows, we do orders, just have a lot of fun. And that's one of our main missions was if we're not having fun, we're done.
Show us 1 or 2 pieces that you're promoting here today.
Okay. So in our last session, we showed a little bit about what we're calling a magnifier, and we're calling it the Magnificent Magnifier necklace. And you ever go into a restaurant and you see the menu and you just can't quite grasp the print, or you're sitting at your desk and you can't see it. So to add a little bling to your neckline, if you want to call it, we created these necklaces that are both a necklace as well as a magnifier. So some of them, like this one, are hidden behind this one's a little gold filigree. So you don't even know when you're wearing this necklace that it is a magnifying glass. You can put it on. You can put other jewelry with it. Some are simple and plain, and you can add jewelry. We also make some like this red one back here. I'm going to pull it up forward. This one is actually 2 necklaces in one. So there's the magnifier underneath this pretty little red and gray. There's the magnifier. The necklace can come off, so you could wear this with something just plain or put another necklace that you like with it. This red one can also come off and be its own necklace, or you can wear them together. So you really have 3 necklaces kind of in one.
Love to have options.
Absolutely. And as we get a little older, sometimes our eyesight isn't quite what it was, and you don't want to have the readers out. You just want to wear a piece of jewelry that you can kind of flip up and nobody even realizes that what it is underneath there. So they're kind of new. Yeah.
I love it. You don't have to name any names, but a customer problem or an issue that you were able to help a client figure out what it was that they were looking for, and how did you tackle that?
our products are 100% guaranteed. So it's probably a little bit overkill on our part, but we want them to be right. We want our customer to be happy. So every once in a while, somebody will come and say, the thread broke, and we'll replace it. So, just reach out to us by phone, by email, however, and we'll put it back together. The hard part is hopefully you had all the beads. They didn't go flying all over the place. Another way we do that is we had a bride. She had gone onto an online e-commerce store and found a pair of earrings that she liked. They were $90. She really didn't feel it was a good value for her to spend $90 for a pair of earrings that she was going to wear for maybe 4 or 5 hours. So she showed us a picture, and I said, let's try it. I never met her until the day I handed them to her in a parking lot in Rosenhain. She wore them. She took pictures. She looked beautiful, and they were just what she wanted. In addition to the earrings, we gave her a bracelet for half of the price that she was going to pay for just the earrings.
Wow.
So that's kind of a way you can work together and make a person's dream come true on a wedding day.
I was looking for a piece of jewelry for my mother-in-law who has a lot of jewelry. And I had a particular idea in mind, but I really wasn't sure exactly what I wanted. And you were kind enough to really sit down with me, to pull out the different beads, to look at the different colors, to talk through what I was looking for. And the finished product was beautiful. Would you like people to email you, text you, call you on the phone? And how much lead time do you really like to have?
Yeah. So depending on the size of the piece, the lead time, obviously, if we have to buy supplies, it could take a little bit. But generally, we have examples of things that you can take a look at. Whatever you're most comfortable with, we can meet up, we can show people, because sometimes they don't have the concept of how tiny these beads are. Or blue is not just blue. There's 100 different kinds of blues, 100 different kinds of greens. Even the blacks are different, matte versus a glossy, a shine. So we really like to sit down with somebody and talk it through of what are they looking for. Maybe they have an idea in mind, and maybe they don't have a clue and they just need to see some samples. So we'll do whatever they're most comfortable with. And we figure, you can take forever searching stores and looking around, but when you can physically see it, touch it, try it on, make sure it fits you, these are one of a kind in a way. So we want them to be unique and want you to feel very special when you're wearing it because it's you. You created it, and you should have that pride that I made my own necklace.
Based out of Vineland, but from the sounds of it, you really could ship wherever if you wanted. Have you ever done that? Have you ever shipped something away to someone out of the area?
Yeah, I had a woman, she bought it from one of our shows. I've sold things to a guy from Massachusetts. He told me what he wanted. Talk about something unique. They're a little elastic that fits on your golf glove Velcro, so you can keep track of your strokes. He wanted to give them as a Christmas gift to his friends. So I found the example, made them for him, and sent them to him.
A lot of folks who are listening or watching who may want to reach out to you to learn more about that.
Yep. Golf counter.
So I guess if anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
So our phone number, I use my cell number, which is 609-381-9222. Or our email is LaLa, LaLa, Beading creations@gmail.com. So the phone number is 609-381-9222.
Thank you very much, Lori. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Patricia Mooningham, who is the passion professor.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask Patricia, welcome.
Yeah, I'm actually here today to talk about my new partnership that I'm entering into with the Chamber for our Business Growth Accelerator program. So I'm head of the Programs and Events Committee here at the Chamber. And one of the things we really tried to focus on is what do business needs and how can the Chamber support that need? So it's been a big focus. And one of the things we looked at was education. AI is everywhere and not everybody knows how to use it, how to best to implement it, where do they get started, what tools, things like that. So we came up with this educational program where I'll be partnering with the chamber, and I'll get to use all of those things, right? So it'll include a training component, it'll include group coaching, and then for those who want a little bit more than that, it will also include a mastermind that they can be a part of. So, but then we looked at how do we make this accessible, right? So we created different tiers for different businesses. One of the important parts of this is it is good for any size business. So large businesses can benefit from interacting with small businesses as part of this program. Obviously, solopreneurs and entrepreneurs who maybe don't have a ton of employees but are looking to grow and scale their business can benefit from this program by interacting with those large businesses. So we went through a couple of versions of this. And I sat down with Randy Galan, who is our second vice president or vice president at the chamber, sorry. And she went through this as a small business owner and said, hey, this is great because I had things in there like communication and leadership and succession planning and digital media, things like that. And she said, but she told me about a program she was doing with AI. How can we put some AI education into all those? So then I came up with just an AI program, but then talking to some folks, we still needed those foundational skills. What does it mean to have good communication skills for your employees, for yourself? What is it to do what does it really mean to strategically implement AI into a business? What about leadership? Where are those skills? Like so often, I just had this conversation with someone. We promote people on technical skills and realize that they can't lead other people. So how does that work for businesses? So, and marketing, where marketing's so different now than it was even 10 years ago as, communication tools and social media tools. I think I was just talking to somebody the other day about TikTok and not having TikTok and not realizing you can shop on TikTok. Not that I need another place to shop, but those are all things that I think businesses would like to learn from each other and learn about.
Is it going to be a training with a finite beginning and end? Is it one-on-one? Walk us through if somebody's listening and they're like, I really could use that for either a business I want to start or an existing business. Talk to us about what that looks like.
So this is a 6-month cohort. So you'll be learning with the same group of individuals for 6 months. For this first edition, we're going to limit it to 20 people because we want to kind of test out the concept, see how well be able to measure our results. But again, it could be small businesses, larger businesses, and they would meet monthly. So they would have training and then they would do that coaching because regardless of the tier you're in, you'll get to do the training and the group coaching. And also you'll have access to videos. We'll videotape that training. You'll have access to that training for a year if you sign up for the program. So not just that day, but for a year. Because what happens? We go to a training and I think statistics say you retain about 30% of what you learn in a training, right? And then you want to apply it, but maybe it's too later. They would be able to go back and access that later. So that's one of the benefits of the program. The coaching, we will not videotape. It is included for all 3 tiers. And then as you get to the second and third tier, after the coaching, the group coaching, there'll be a mastermind that people can participate in. So the coaching might have a specific question that people are doing, and then the mastermind will be driven by the group needs. So we will start this program in October. It'll run 6 months. So from October through March, it's going to meet. Right now, we have it scheduled to meet the second Wednesday of the month. We just have to double check. There's no chamber meetings in there for the chamber board that it'll conflict with. So that is the plan, to meet once a month. And like I said, that doesn't take people away from their business too often, but it's a regular cadence that you're meeting. We'll open registration in July. And currently we're working on a scholarship program for small businesses to be funded by the Chamber Foundation. So businesses with less than 10 employees will get, we're working on an amount that they could get as a scholarship to help offset their costs. There'll also be if you pay for the whole program, there'll be a discount if you pay for the whole program up front. If you're sending multiple people, there's another program, and there'll be a monthly payment opportunity as well for small businesses that might need to be able to make a payment plan as opposed to having a budget. Not everybody has a training budget. The nice thing is for larger organizations who may be getting to the end of the year and they have some extra training budget left over, this is a nice end of the year opportunity. They go ahead and sign up for it and it'll go into the next year.
And speaking of cost, what are the costs for the 3 different tiers?
So the first tier is a really reasonable $149. So if you've been online to see an online training, this is a 3-hour training, plus you get access to the video. That's and that's a chamber member cost. So it will be $199 per session per month for non-chamber members. One of the things we really wanted to drive in this partnership is the benefits of joining the chamber. All right. So there is a member rate versus a non-member rate. Then as you go up to the next tiers, it is these have to off the top of my head, right? So it's $299 and that includes the mastermind and some other toolkits and some other opportunities for individual coaching at the mid tier. And then the top tier is $699 and $899 member versus non-member pricing. So if you're thinking about joining if you need this program and you're not a chamber member, the idea is the difference in the value chamber member versus non-chamber member. It makes sense to just go ahead and join the chamber and get all those other benefits. So that was one of the things as I worked with the chamber on how can we really add value to the chamber membership in addition to participating in this program.
Okay. And is that a monthly fee or is that for the whole 6 months?
That's the monthly fee. Yes, that's a monthly fee. So, and again, if you pay for the whole 6 months up front, you get a discount. There's like a 10% discount for full payment up front, or you do a down payment and then we can create a payment plan for those folks that need it.
Okay. And are you going to be leading the trainings?
Yes, I'll be leading the trainings. I'll be leading the coaching sessions. Of course, the mastermind will be a combination of whoever is participating in it. But I also may be bringing in some guest speakers depending on the topic, because especially with AI, as it changes daily, even sometimes. So I have been actually sourcing some folks that even if I bring them in virtually to the training, that they can give top tips, whether it's on Copilot or I just did a great training with the SBDC on agents in ChatGPT. I thought I was pretty fluent in ChatGPT and she did a whole thing on agents, which was brand new. So the technology is changing every day. So like I said, we have a framework, but those resources and what we update for those AI pieces may change as things go on.
Right. And I think that's really important for any size business in today's day and age, to recognize how AI can be used at a minimum in marketing businesses. And I know that's some things that we've talked about here on the Beacon. So it sounds very exciting. Have you had any folks that have signed up? Is it open yet or no? It's not going to open yet.
Registration will open in July. Again, we're working on that scholarship piece. So some approvals for that. And then we'll have registration. So people will be able to go to my website. They'll be signing up through the Passion Professor. So they'll go to thepassionprofessor.com and it'll say the Bridgeton Business Growth Accelerator Program. There'll be options for members versus non-members. And then we'll also include a link if you want to join today, to do that again, to help promote the chamber. Certainly, if people have questions, they can email me at patricia@thepassionprofessor.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions about it. We will also be doing a free kickoff session for training, just about 5 things businesses need right now. And that will kind of give people a taste of it. And we'll do that in September so they can kind of see my training style. And at the end of that training, we'll talk a little bit about this program so they can see more of the details and things will be more finalized then. It'll also be on the chamber website once there'll be a link there. So either way, like I said, I'm doing this in partnership with the chamber. That's why there's those special rates for chamber members. Great reason to join the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce is to get this training in at like I said, it's a very reasonable rate for members of the chamber.
A couple upcoming chamber events, and maybe now's a good time to do that before we conclude by speaking with Tony. There is going to be a joint chamber event. It's going to be, and Lori can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce and the Millville Chamber of Commerce are hosting a county progress report community luncheon on Wednesday, June 17th at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's going to be a luncheon. Sandra Taylor, Commissioner, Director of the Cumberland County Commissioners, is going to be the featured speaker and panel host. $30 early bird rate per person, and there are opportunities for event hosts at $250 per hosting table. And so that's going to be held at Rowan College of South Jersey over at the Luciano Center, a beautiful venue to have this event at. Next, wanted to let everybody know, if you didn't know already, that we are going to have a designer bag bingo on June 26, 2026. Doors are open at 5 p.m. The games are going to start at 6:30. That's going to be held at the Millville Elks Lodge at 1815 East Broad Street in Millville. If you want to learn more about how to get involved in that, I'm actually going to be there that night doing the bingo moderating, as they say. So I'm really looking forward to that. So again, Friday, June 26, 2026, designer bag bingo. And Spirit Health is going to be sponsoring that event. And then finally, wanted to remind everyone of our annual Dog Days of Summer. That's going to be on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026, from 5 to 7 p.m. That is our annual fundraiser for the Sheriff's Canine Unit. $40 per person gets you a glass of wine, a $10 food voucher, and you get to bring your dogs with you. And the donations and the contributions are shared and get promoted to the Sheriff's Canine Unit.
I want to put a shameless plug in there. It's the Bridgeton Business Growth Accelerator Program that is sponsoring the
That's right.
for those door prizes. And then, I'm going to do a shameless plug that Whiskey Sunset is the entertainment for this year's Dog Days of Summer. So if you're a follower of Whiskey Sunset, come out, donate to a good cause, and have a great night of music. We usually are always blessed with great weather for that event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't wait. All right. Thank you. So Tony Novak of Nantuxent, tell us about your business, who you are, and who you serve.
6 years ago, we moved to Millville, and I restarted my CPA practice here. I introduced myself as a tax problem solver. That's really my background. Usually you want to try to solve the problem before you think about litigation. So that's really been my focus, and coming from a planning approach rather than a check the boxes and go into litigation. So that's really been my strength over the years. And what I notice now, business owners are having trouble keeping up with technology. And so I find that most of my work is in the coaching aspects of looking at the problem, really pulling out what are the real issues, what are the real priorities, what are we trying to accomplish? And in many cases now, unfortunately, the IRS problem, we may want to solve the problem and we can't, because we can't reach somebody. We can't reach somebody competent. And it changes the ballgame. We have to look at things in a different way and come up with a different type of approach. And we noticed specifically in this area, the background of business owners, small business owners, is skewed very heavily. Most of my clients are over age 65. Most of them own a business and think they know what they're going to do to end that business, sell it, or get out of it. But in reality, there's no plan. The real problems come when there's actually a physical crisis, whether that's a health condition or a family crisis, or sometimes a divorce. And I'm finding out that business planning, end of career business planning, has become a big part of what's needed around here, and something that I've been able to step in and have some success stories. If somebody's wondering, could Tony be of any use to me? Someone that is stressed, they've received a letter in the mail from the house, that's really what they want. They want to pick up the phone, they want to call somebody like me, and most CPAs would say that's exactly the kind of call I don't want to take. But I take the opposite approach. So I really do encourage people that whatever, if you think you have a problem, reach out and just have a conversation. There's no cost, there's no pressure, there's no obligation. We talk about what can be done and what can't be done and what your other options are. A specific type of case that I'm getting a lot of right now, and that is the self-employed, the business owner, where business has slowed down, in whether it's tariffs, whether it's the economy, whether it's disposable income of customers, whatever. Business has slowed down. And very often, unfortunately, the first bill that doesn't get paid is often the tax bill. And if you're self-employed, that's a self-employment tax, 15% of your net. It piles up in a hurry. And if you have employees, unfortunately, it's often what are called trust funds. Your employees, Social Security, that's serious when you don't pay that. You could be talking about the criminal situations. And I'm one of the relative few CPAs that does handle criminal cases. So, but it's important to step back and really look at the whole big picture of your life. Really, if you're in that type of situation, you have to look at how this problem may affect your life. And I am working with a trucker right now, the young guy in his 30s, built up. He had 40 trucks on the road. But when tariffs came down, he just started losing contracts and losing business, and fuel prices went up. And he was thinking about bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, the bankruptcy was our plan. And he mostly negotiated out of that. We talked it through. I handled the IRS. He handled his truck leasing companies. And he's still in a world of hurt. There's no way around it. It's going to affect his life. He's $500,000 in debt to the IRS. But he has some real estate, which is hopefully going up in value. And we can work through those problems, and we can talk about his priorities. And we talked about, he had confided with me that he actually started seeing a therapist, which was, wonderful news. That's exactly what you need in that kind of situation. But the point is, what he thought was going to be disastrous, possible criminal risk, bankruptcy, we were able to pretty much solve that. Now we're talking civilly. We're going to come up with a problem. The revenue agent is willing to work with us because we've established credibility, and we can work through, and it's going to take a couple of years. But the point is, again, that's the kind of service, that's the kind of story that I'm really happy to be proud of. And my bet is that he will be running another successful business within a few years.
How do you prefer people to reach out to you? And can you give us your contact information?
Right. Nantuxent.com is my website. NANTUXENT.com, 856-237-9199. Again, that works better than a business number, than the office number. And I don't mind taking a call or a text.
Tony, very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the Expo.
Thank you, Meg.
Certainly, there'll be a media kit folder for all the participants. If you post a 7-minute video about X, Y, or Z on your website, that is awesome. If you, in teamwork throughout the year, post on the local chamber website together, your videos will get deferential treatment. So we'll be providing a media kit that is something for the participants individually to use on their social posts. The Bridgeton Beacon will post individually about every participant, what's going on, what they're doing. And then we'll be giving the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce the Hub Media Kit to begin dissemination on the BACC YouTube, or we're going to publish it on the Bridgeton Beacon YouTube, and we'll invite the Beacon or the Chamber as a collaborator, which you can now do, and we'll just share audiences on all those videos because the Beacon does pretty well and already gets AI inclusion on everything. So those are all the options, but each of you will get your own media kit link with highlights and written content and a link to the finished product that will be fully produced.
And we would love to see everyone come back. I'm Meg Horner. I am the founder and host, as Tom said, of the Bridgeton Beacon. Tom is our producer, Tom Ritter. And we started the Bridgeton Beacon 5 years ago. We just had our 5th anniversary to do just this, to promote people, places, and things, shine a spotlight on all the good things that are going on in the South Jersey area. We give preferential treatment to Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce members. And so if you have any questions about how we can help you promote your business, please feel free to reach out, bridgetonbeacon.com. I'm Meg Horner. My cell phone number is 609-892-2970. And thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for joining.